Welcome to this explainer. Look, putting on my investment analyst hat for a second, I get incredibly excited about massive generational shifts that are playing out right in front of us, but somehow still flying totally under the radar. Everyone is obsessing over the software, right? Everyone is talking about the chips and the hardware. But today, we're digging into the foundational layer beneath all of that, the physical infrastructure. We're going to map out exactly how to build an energy and infrastructure portfolio to capture what is undeniably the AI-powered supercycle. Here is the agenda for today. We'll start with the AI-powered supercycle. Then, Layer 1, natural gas supply. Layer 2, on-site power solutions. Layer 3, grid electrical upgrades. Layer 4, advanced nuclear power, and finally, the portfolio summary. Section 1, the AI-powered supercycle. Let's look at why power is the real bottleneck. Okay, let's dive into this. There is a relentless, undeniable logic driving this entire macro catalyst, and it essentially plays out in 3 distinct steps. Step 1, as you probably know, AI models are getting larger. Every single new generation of a large language model demands exponentially more compute to train and operate. Step 2, to house all that compute, data centers are getting bigger. We aren't talking about standard industrial warehouses anymore. We are talking about sprawling, gigawatt-scale campuses, which leads directly to step 3. Power needs grow exponentially. You literally cannot cheat physics. More compute requires more electricity. It's a direct linear relationship, and that curve is steepening fast. This brings us to a really stark reality in the supply chain. When the initial AI hardware rotation eventually slows down, when everybody finally has their GPUs, the true fundamental bottleneck isn't silicon. The real bottleneck is power. It's the physical energy grid required to run these massive machines 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Because if you don't have the electricity, those expensive chips are just very, very expensive paperweights. So, how do we play this? Layer 1, fuel and natural gas supply. Renewable energy is fantastic, but let's be real, it's often intermittent. AI data centers need constant, ultra-reliable baseload power today. Enter the Layer 1 winners. First up, you have EQT, the largest U.S. natural gas producer, actually pulling the raw material out of the ground. But extraction is only half the battle, right? You need the infrastructure giants to move it. That's exactly where KMI comes in with their massive gas pipelines, alongside WMB, handling natural gas transport and LNG. And finally, you have ET operating a sprawling, interconnected U.S. energy network. These companies represent the immediate energy foundation. They are the essential arteries pumping the fuel needed to keep the AI heart beating right now. Layer 2, on-site and fast deploy power. Now, what's really interesting about this is that simply having the fuel isn't enough if you can't get it directly to the data center. Getting a new connection to the main power grid can literally take years of regulatory red tape. Data center builders do not have years, so they are turning to fast-moving innovators to bypass the gridlock. Look at Bloom Energy, ticker BE, who provide these incredibly advanced solid oxide fuel cells that can sit right outside the facility. We're also seeing GEV deploying rapid gas turbines. Meanwhile, massive legacy industrial players are experiencing this huge resurgence. Think Caterpillar, CAT, and Cummins, CMI. They're seeing skyrocketing demand for their heavy-duty backup generators. Throw in KGS for mobile power and TE for solar microgrids, and you've got a robust suite of fast-deploy infrastructure solutions solving the immediate power crisis right on site. Layer 3, grid and electrical infrastructure. Eventually, the broader grid does have to catch up, so the crucial point here is that moving unprecedented amounts of electricity generates incredible heat and requires massive hardware upgrades. You've got traditional powerhouses like Eaton, ETN, mastering complex electrical systems, and PWR stepping in for the physical grid buildout. But crucially, you really need to look at Vertiv, ticker VRT. They handle advanced cooling and power management. Heat is the absolute enemy of compute, which makes targeted cooling infrastructure pure gold in this sector right now. Rounding out this backbone, you have Hub providing the essential transformers, alongside NVT and EMR building out the broader industrial electrical infrastructure. These companies are quite literally the picks and shovels of the modern digital gold rush. Before we jump to the final layer, let's just pause and compare where we are to where we're going. We have our near-term bottleneck solutions, the fast-deployed turbines, backup generators, and fuel cells we just talked about. These are absolutely vital today to get things off the ground. But looking ahead, we're staring down the visionary long-term future baseloads, advanced nuclear, portable microreactors, and small modular reactors. The scale of this upcoming transition is just breathtaking. As AI models continue to scale exponentially over the next decade, natural gas and fuel cells simply won't be enough. We are going to need zero carbon, incredibly high density, constant power. Layer 4, Advanced Nuclear Power. Let's see how this builds into the ultimate futuristic baseload solution. To sustain the AI supercycle over the horizon, the industry is aggressively pursuing atomic energy. The winners here are fascinating because you have two very different approaches playing out. First, you have the cutting-edge upstarts, firms like Oklo pushing advanced nuclear, SMR pioneering small modular reactors, and NE developing portable microreactors that could potentially power individual data center campuses on demand. But then you also have the established titans, Constellation Energy, CEG, which already operates the largest nuclear fleet in the United States. You have Vistra, VST combining nuclear with broad power generation, and BWXT providing the highly specialized reactor components and services to actually make it all happen. This is the heavy, long-term artillery of the AI power trade. Finally, the portfolio summary, mapping the stocks. We've covered a tremendous amount of ground today, moving all the way from raw natural gas to cutting-edge microreactors. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how an analyst views the entire landscape. This is your visual cheat sheet. We have 4 distinct pillars of investment here. Column 1 captures the raw fuel with natural gas leaders like EQT and KMI. Column 2 tackles the immediate on-site bottlenecks with fast-moving innovators like Bloom Energy and industrial stalwarts like Caterpillar. Column 3 modernizes the grid with electrical giants like Eaton and cooling experts like Vertiv. And finally, Column 4 secures our future with nuclear pioneers like SMR and massive fleet operators like CEG. This complete matrix shows exactly which stocks capture which part of the trade, letting you see the whole physical infrastructure landscape in one shot. We've moved far, far past the days where investing in AI just meant buying chip manufacturers. The physical world is frantically playing catch-up to the digital world, and the required infrastructure is staggering. So I leave you with this final critical thought. As these massive gigawatt campuses rise up across the globe, how are you positioning yourself for the exponential power demands of tomorrow's data centers? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really encourage you to research these tickers, look at the underlying trends, and seriously consider your own exposure to this massive supercycle.